Hi, design some groovy entertainment. Today we got another tape to play for you. Today, taped Heidi for 1988. So let's get started.
Are we resting comfortably? Well, you will when Uncle James reads you a classic bedtime tale from long ago. This one is called Heidi. Uncle James, read on.
Thank you. One sunny morning in June, a young woman called Detty climbed the winding mountain path out of the pretty little town of Mayenfield. The path was steep and rugged, but the air was fragrant with the scent of wild flowers growing in the rich pastures high up in the mountains. In one hand she held a bundle of clothes, and by the other, a little girl who looked no more than 5 years old. The child was hot and flushed. She was wearing far too many clothes for such a warm day. 2 dresses, woolen stockings, a pair of heavy boots, and thick red woolen scarf. On they plodded until halfway up the mountain they came to the tiny village of Dorfley. The young woman stopped, and the little girl slipped her hand free and sat down on the ground. "Are you tired, Heidi?" asked Datey. "No, but I'm very hot," she said. "Well, it's not very far to Uncle Alp's now. If you take long strides, we'll soon be there." Just then, Barbie, a pleasant-looking young woman, came running out of her house. "Datey," she called, "what are you doing here, and where are you taking that child?" "Oh, is she the niece you've been looking after since her mother died?" "Yes," said Datey, "and I'm taking her to stay with Uncle Alp. I can't look after her now that I've got a job in the city." "What?" said Barbie. "You're leaving her with him? You must be crazy. How can you think of such a thing? He's so wild. What does he know about looking after a small girl? He lives all alone in the mountains with his 2 goats and hardly ever sees or speaks to anyone. When he makes a rare visit to the village, he carries a big stick to frighten people away. Do you know he doesn't even go to church anymore?" said Barbie. "Well, what else can I do? He is her grandfather after all," said Datey. "He can look after her now. I've done my duty." While the 2 young women continued walking up the mountain path, chatting, Heidi skipped away from the path and into a lush green meadow. She had never felt so happy before. In the town where she had lived with her aunt, and she had never been allowed to play outside. Now she ran and skipped and played among the flowers in the sunshine. But just as she thought about running back to her aunt, she saw a boy in baggy trousers, with no shoes, leading a herd of goats. Puffing and panting in her thick, heavy clothes, Heidi ran after him. The boy paused for a moment for the goats to nibble at the grass. Catching them up, Heidi sat down and listened to their little brass bells clanking in the warm breeze. At once she began pulling off her boots, scarf, stockings, and dresses. "How many goats do you look after?" she asked the boy. "What are their names? Where are you taking them? Who do they belong to?" she said. The boy smiled. Heidi was so full of questions that she did not give him the time to answer a single one. Then she heard her Aunt Datey shouting, "Heidi, what are you doing, and where are your clothes?" "Down there," said Heidi, pointing to the neat little pile of clothes in the grass. "I took them off. It was so hot. Anyway, the goats don't wear any clothes." "Come here at once, you silly girl," said Datey, grabbing Heidi's hand. "And you, Peter, bring that bundle of clothes. You can carry them up to Uncle Alp's, since you're going that way." It was a long climb to the high mountain pasture before Uncle Alp's chalet came into view. The old man was sitting in front of the house, smoking his pipe. Running ahead of the others, Heidi reached Uncle Alp first. "Hello, grandfather," she said, holding out her hand. "What's this all about, then?" the old man asked. He shook Heidi abruptly by the hand and stared at her from under his thick, bushy eyebrows. Heidi, who had never seen anyone like Uncle Alp before, just stared back at the weather-beaten face covered in a thick tangle of gray hair. "Hello, Uncle," said Datey. "I've brought little Heidi to live with you. I can't look after her any more. It's your turn now." Uncle Alp's eyes blazed. "My turn? My turn? What do I know about looking after girls? And you there, Peter, what are you looking at? Be off with you, and take my goats, too. Dady was really afraid of the old man, but determined to leave Heidi with him. I hope you look after her properly, she said. And if you can't, you'll have to find someone who can. Uncle Alp was furious. Go away, be off with you. I've no time for people like you, and don't let me see your face again in a hurry. Dady didn't want to be told twice. With a quick goodbye to Heidi, she hurried off down the mountain slope. When Dady had disappeared, Uncle Alp sat down again and puffed hard at his pipe. Well, he said, what do you want? I want to see inside the house, please, Grandfather. Come on, then, and bring your clothes with you. But I won't need them anymore. The goats run about the mountains all day, and they don't wear dresses. Well, you don't have to if you don't want to, but bring them in anyway, and we'll put them in a cupboard. Heidi did as she was told and followed the old man into the chalet. It was just a large, bare room with a single chair, a table, a hearth, and a large wooden cupboard. Where will I sleep, Grandfather? Wherever you like, I don't mind. Heidi was delighted and set about finding somewhere to sleep. In one corner, there was a ladder propped against the wall. Climbing up, she found a loft of sweet, fresh hay. There was a round hole cut in the wall, and through it, Heidi could see down to the valley. She could see the river, the trees, and looking up, a snow-capped mountain soaring into the sky. I think I'll sleep up there, Grandfather, she called. It's lovely. All right then, but you'll need a sheet. I'll see what I can do. When Uncle Alp climbed the ladder, Heidi had made a little mattress of hay. That's right, but I think you need a little more hay so you don't feel the hard floor under you, said Grandfather. But I think you've forgotten something, said Heidi when the old man had finished making the bed. Have I? What's that, then? Well, I need a cover because when you get into bed, you need something to cover you, don't you? You do you? Said the old man. Will this do? He said kindly, and he laid a large piece of thick, coarse flax over the little bed. Oh, it's lovely, Grandfather. I wish it was night now so I could go to bed. I think you ought to have something to eat first. You must be very hungry. Uncle Alp followed Heidi down the ladder, and while he prepared their supper, Heidi put 2 plates and 2 wooden bowls on the table. I'm glad to see you can be helpful, mumbled her grandfather. But I don't know what you can sit on. That stool's far too small for you to reach the table. And with that, the old man pushed his own chair in front of little Heidi for her to use as a table. And then he poured her a bowl of milk and gave her a slice of bread and golden toasted cheese. After supper, Uncle Alp made Heidi her own special chair. Then, as evening came and the sound of the wind grew louder through the 3 old fir trees, Heidi heard a shrill whistle and the sound of bells. It was Peter returning from the mountain pasture with Uncle Alp's goats. Are those 2 ours, Grandfather? Asked Heidi. And what are their names? And will they always live with us? One question at a time, Heidi, the old man said. The white one's called Little Swan, the brown one, Little Bear. Now go and fetch your bowl while Peter milks the goat. As the sun went down behind the high mountains, and the wind blew stronger through the trees, Heidi sat on a bench in front of the hut and drank her milk. Good night, Little Swan. Good night, Little Bear, she called out as she went back into the hut. Good night, Grandfather. Good night, Peter. During the night, the wind grew stronger and stronger. It blew so hard that the old beams of the little hut creaked and groaned. In the goat shed, Little Swan and Little Bear huddled together, bleating. 2 big branches from the fir trees came crashing down onto the hut. Uncle Alp got up thinking that the child might be afraid, but when he reached the hayloft, he found Heidi sound asleep, her smiling face resting on her hands. He stood there looking down at her in the moonlight until a flurry of clouds covered the moon and darkened the room. Good night, little Heidi, he whispered, bending down and kissing kissing her. Good night. And good night to you.
So, that was Heidi for 1988. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment. Have a groovy day with another video coming out real soon.